Being black right now is like a real trend. It's really trendy. And I know that's like not no great news or whatever. Like that's not any new news. Like we already knew that being black is what they want, but it's deeper than that, bro. There's literally people who are mixed that are white passing that literally refuse to claim any other side that they have other than black. Like they will go above and beyond to prove to you that they are that 5% black that they said they were. Like it's like they're holding on to it so hard. Or even people who used to not claim being black, or like people who used to not claim being black, they are really claiming that they are black now, like super duper black. And that all follows the trend of people wanting to have BBLs now. People the trend of like discovering that they finally have wavy or curly hair, whatever that means. Like there's so many different things. Crazy tans that they're getting. All of this to say is, I said all of this because the fact that it's a trend, I mean, we all know what trends are. They are temporary. They do not last forever. So it's just like, it's kind of sad to see like growing up how hard it was, and then now it's a trend now, but like knowing that it won't be as trendy anymore. So these problems still are problems, you know, and they're not being addressed. They're just being used. They're not.
Hey, Pretty Girl Club. One of the pretty girls sent me this TikTok in my email, and I want to address this talking point of mixed race women or lighter skinned women are replacing unambiguous black women. The reason why we are quote unquote replacing you guys is because you guys, unambiguous monoracial black people, love claiming us as your own. You guys will argue up and down and say that people like Cardi B, people like Beyonce, you guys will say that they are unambiguous monoracial black women. And so it causes people who are non-black, people in positions of power who are non-black, who control Hollywood and who control castings and things like that, they won't end up knowing the difference if people are constantly confusing the two, or if people think that one drop of blackness makes you unambiguously black. So that's one of the reasons why mixed race people end up replacing unambiguous people in the media. Another reason is because unambiguous black women ignore other unambiguous black women. You guys ignored Kelly Rowland's music and you pay attention to Beyonce's music. You guys ignore up-and-coming R&B singers' music. And instead, you choose to pay more attention to people like Mariah the Scientist, people like Ice Spice. So unambiguous black women in particular, you guys are the ones who are pumping up Ice Spice by listening to her all the time. You guys are pumping up Mariah the Scientist and all of these other lighter skinned women, or these mixed race or mixed looking women. You guys are actually pumping them up by constantly talking about them, constantly making YouTube videos about them. What you don't realize is that every time you make a video about a particular celebrity, you are still giving that person publicity. I would have no idea who Ice Spice or Mariah the Scientist were if it weren't for black women empowerment channels talking about them. I would have had no idea who these people were. Another thing that I've noticed is if the woman herself is light-skinned and she only identifies with blackness, so some examples of this would be actually Mariah the Scientist, Chloe and Halle Bailey are examples of this. If that woman herself identifies with blackness, unambiguous black women will eat that shit up. They will have nothing in common with those women. They look nothing like Chloe and Halle, but because Chloe and Halle themselves say, hey, we love our blackness and we're black and we want to represent that, then unambiguous black women will push them to the forefront. When Halle Bailey got that role in The Little Mermaid, black women ate that up. They were saying, oh, look at black women, like look at all the stuff they were doing. But then after Halle Bailey's fame increased and then she got that role in The Color Purple after the Little Mermaid movie, then I saw those same black women, they were online complaining saying, oh, well, she's benefiting from colorism and she only got to where she is because she has a light skin tone and she is replacing unambiguous black women. So it's not that we are purposely trying to replace you guys. It's that you guys replace yourselves. You guys love claiming people like Barack Obama and Kamala Harris. So you guys refuse to acknowledge the fact that we are mixed race or multi-generationally mixed. And instead, a lot of unambiguous black people want to clout chase off of the achievements of people like Barack Obama and Kamala Harris and Meghan Markle. You guys want to call her a black princess and, saying she's black royalty and stuff like that. So you can't clout chase off of us and ride our coattails 24/7. And then when we actually become successful, and when my phenotype is represented, like when a lighter skin phenotype is represented, or when more of the mixed race phenotypes are represented, then you want to turn around and complain and say, well, unambiguous black women aren't being represented, they're being replaced. That is something that you could have contributed to stopping by refusing to talk about people like Mariah the Scientist and Ice Spice. You guys could have chosen to support Kelly Rowland's music. You guys could have chosen to push other women to the forefront, or to not watch movies that have MLS women in them. You guys could have chosen to stop supporting all of these rappers and stuff that you guys claim up and down are so colorist, but then you guys are still paying $1,000 to take pictures with Chris Brown. You guys are still paying all of this money to go to these rap concerts and stuff like that. And then you want to turn around and get mad when women who do not look like you become famous. Another problem is that unambiguous black women love to approximate themselves to darker skinned mixed women. So, for example, women like Chili from TLC. People recently got mad because Chili does not refer to herself as a chocolate black woman. Chili is mixed race. She is black and Indian, and she chooses to respect her Indian culture. She gives honor to that part of herself, and those are her family members. But because a lot of unambiguous black people, they want to throw us in and out of blackness, then we as mixed people or lighter skinned people who happen to be monoracial, we get to embrace that fluid identity because you guys handed it to us. You guys handed us this fluid identity. You guys give this to us by pedestalizing us, by living vicariously through us, by choosing to take time out of your day to make videos about Ice Spice and make videos about Mariah the Scientist when you could have been making videos about Ari Lennox and her new music that came out. You could have been talking about unambiguous women who are making it big in the R&B industry, but no, you chose instead to actually give more publicity to all of these mixed race, all of these lighter skinned women, and you think that by talking down on them and making all of these videos against them, or making all of these TikToks and Instagrams against these people, you think that that's going to lower their fame, but you don't understand how marketing works. The way marketing works is that if you are talking about that person is still receiving marketing. People were talking so much shit about Kenya Barris, who is a multi-generationally mixed race man. He is also light skinned. He features people of his own phenotype in the shows that he made, like Blackish and Grownish and all of those TV shows. People complained and said he only has light skinned people in his shows. He doesn't have people that represent unambiguous black women in his TV shows. So you guys were complaining, but you were still watching the TV shows. And that is why a lot of people do not take unambiguous black people's complaints seriously. It's because you complain, but then you still turn around and support Beyonce. You complain and say Beyonce's only where she is because she's light-skinned, or Kelly Rowland should have been more successful than Beyonce. So you're talking all of this pro-black stuff, but then you're not actually supporting Kelly Rowland. You're talking like you're so pro-black and like you don't want to be replaced, but then you ignore Ari Lennox so that you can go and watch Chloe Bailey's new music video, and then you want to talk crap about Chloe Bailey, not realizing that Chloe Bailey herself said that her being talked about is good publicity and good marketing for her. So once again, you are not moving strategically because you are still giving all of your attention, all of your time, and all of your energy to these women who look nothing like you. And then another issue is that a lot of unambiguous black women like to pretend that they all look mixed. They like to pretend that they look like light-skinned women. They like to pretend that they look just like mixed race women. They like to pretend like they have the same hair textures as Chili from TLC. And then they get mad when those women make it to the forefront, or they are seen as representatives of blackness, and then those women themselves decide, hey, I want to talk about my Indian heritage. Hey, I want to talk about being from this other background. Hey, I want to talk about being mixed race. And then black women suddenly get insulted and offended by that. One of the things that I always say on this channel is stop begging others to be your representation. Mixed women are not required to be pro-black social justice warriors. Mixed race women or lighter skinned women, women who look mixed, they are not required to forego financial freedom so that they can have solidarity with unambiguous black women. If somebody is getting paid to be on a show called Blackish, and maybe she happened to benefit from her racial background, or maybe Kenya Barris, who's the creator of that show, felt like he could relate to her more, and she was able to utilize that to her advantage and provide money for herself and her family, then that's her business. She has every right to do that. And also, why are unambiguous black women begging for our validation? Why are you begging begging for mixed race validation? Why are you begging for light skin validation? Why are you begging for white male validation? Why are you begging for black male validation? Why are you begging for Hollywood's validation? That's another issue. It's the constant begging for other people to recognize you. It's the constant begging for other people to promote you. Why would someone who looks nothing like you want to promote you? I mean, just from a strategic standpoint, if somebody is white or they look nothing like you, they're from a totally different racial background, they can't understand you, they don't understand your traumas, they don't understand what it's like to be an unambiguous black woman. First of all, why would you want them to represent you? They would not even do a good job representing you because they don't understand your plight. And then, number two, people are usually going to be loyal to those that look like them. The only group of people that does not do this, from my experience, tends to be monoracial, unambiguous, dark-skinned black people, women and the men as well. It's constantly looking for people like Barack Obama, who's biracial, to represent you. Looking at people like Zendaya, who's also biracial, to represent you. Looking at people like Kamala Harris, who's multiracial, to represent you. Looking at people like Janae Aiko, who's multiracial. You're looking at people like Beyonce, who is multi-generationally mixed. Rihanna, she's also multi-generationally mixed. You want all of these women to represent you, and you expect them to do a good job when they can't, because they're not you. Who better to represent you than yourself? So once again, stop begging others to be your representation. Nobody actually owes you anything. Beyonce didn't have to cancel her career to give Kelly a chance. You know what I mean? This is not a charity. I don't believe that black people are some sort of charity case where other people have to give up their successes so that they can help unambiguous black people. No, I believe unambiguous, monoracial, dark-skinned black women and men have the talent, have the money, and have the resources to create their own spaces if they wanted to. So if you want your own space, it's up to you to create that. You can't get mad at someone like Kenya Barris, who is not an unambiguous, monoracial, dark-skinned black man, and expect him to represent those experiences. You can't constantly just be begging for other people to put you at the forefront. You have to do that for yourselves. And I think that the issue is that a lot of people who have inferiority complexes about their blackness, they don't believe in themselves, and they also don't believe in the unambiguous black women who are trying to make something of themselves. Kelly Rowland is a good example. A lot of people said that Kelly Rowland should have been a bigger star, but then they didn't support Kelly Rowland's music. A lot of people say that Ari Lennox or Tiana Taylor should have been bigger than they are, but then those people, they didn't go buy her music. They didn't try to stream her music to make it like chart higher or anything like that. And so you can't just talk about something and spend your life complaining. That's not going to cause you to move up in society. That's not how you social climb. That's not how you market yourself. And in fact, the more you complain about women like Ice Spice or Mariah the Scientist making more money and kind of getting more clout and stuff, the more clout you're actually giving them because you're still promoting them. Like I said, I would have never even known who those artists were. Now I've got their entire albums on my phone. I would have never known who they were had unambiguous black women not made so many YouTube videos about them. Because the fact that black women empowerment content creators were talking so much about those artists, it made me say, well, wow, they must have something special if you've got so many people talking about you and, you know, saying that you shouldn't have been where you're at. And, you know, it's actually free promotion. But what do you ladies think? Do you think that we should cape for women who wouldn't cape for us? Because I know that I'm not going to cape for women who wouldn't cape for me. All of the empathy and all of the sympathy that you guys want mixed race women or light skinned women to have for unambiguous black women, you guys didn't show us that same empathy during the colorism conversations. You guys didn't listen to our side of what we've been through with people being resentful towards us or people being racist against us because we are mixed black women as opposed to full black women. So if you guys didn't have that empathy for us and if you guys didn't give us that same energy, why would you expect us to now return that? And also, Hollywood is not controlled by unambiguous black women. So the problem is that, once again, you're looking to Hollywood to bring validation to your community when all you have to do is take Hollywood off of the pedestal. Stop basing your entire self-esteem off of Hollywood. Stop basing your entire self-esteem off of who's the most popular in Hollywood. And you have the power to make women who look like you more successful by giving them, you know, buying their albums, by showing up and buying tickets to their shows and stuff like that. But a lot of women and men are not strategic. And then they get mad when us mixed race people or when lighter skinned people like Ice Spice or Mariah the Scientist or Sweetie, you guys get mad when those women know how to utilize the skills, the privileges, the talents, and all of the things that they have to their advantage. You get mad when they use those things to social climb, and then you expect to constantly ride our coattails, and then you get mad when you are at our coattails. You can't constantly push MLS women and men to the forefront as the leaders of the Black community and then later on get mad that we are the leaders of the Black community, or that we are the ones who tend to be breaking a lot of the barriers and stuff. And then you get mad and say, well, unambiguous women they're not the main ones breaking the barriers. And it's like, did you try to help the unambiguous women who tried to break those barriers? Are you guys supporting these businesses and production companies that are owned by these unambiguous women? Because all I hear is a bunch of complaining online. And then it's like, even if you do complain online, how is that going to solve the problem? Like, all you're doing is you're hoping to gain empathy from lighter skinned women. You're hoping to gain empathy from mixed race women, but then you guys turn around and don't give us credit for the work that we have put in the Black community. You don't give mixed race people the credit that we are due for having helped unambiguous people for decades at this point. And then people have the audacity to turn around and throw us in and out of Blackness. They don't allow us to claim Blackness, but then at the same time, they get offended if we claim non-Blackness. But you're also expecting us to continue building the community at the same time. Why would I build the community of women who don't care about building my community? Why would I try to help represent women who don't want me to represent them? A lot of unambiguous Black women complain all the time and they say, get out of our spaces and stop replacing us. But then those same women, they flock to our music. They flock to this YouTube channel. They flock to Ice Spice's content. They flock to Mariah the Scientist's content. They flock to Chris Brown's content, to Rihanna, to Beyonce. They flock to content from creators who look nothing like them, and then they get mad and say, you guys are replacing us. But it's like, no, aren't you replacing yourself? Because instead of trying to go out of your way to find someone who looks like yourself, because I'm sure there are plenty of people who are unambiguous, who are very talented, who are trying to make movies right now, people who are trying to make it in the industry and stuff. But no, instead of going out of your way to find those people, you want to hop on the bandwagon and listen to all of Ice Spice's music and then talk your crap about Ice Spice, not realizing that you just gave Ice Spice so many more streams by talking about her. And I know that this content creator on this TikTok, she didn't talk about Ice Spice. I'm just using that as an example. But what do you ladies think? Should we cape for women who wouldn't cape for us? Should we try to promote women who don't like the fact that we are getting our shine, whether it's in Hollywood, whether it's in real life? What do you ladies think? Let me know in the comments section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.